Welcome to Your Next Mission podcast with the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army and co-founder of the American Freedom Foundation, Jack L. Tilley. Proudly presented by Cavalry Agency, Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue University Global, and Veterans United Home Loans.
Hello out there, warriors, past and present, and your families, and thank you for the service to our country. Welcome to Season 3 of Your Next Mission video podcast, a program initiative of the American Freedom Foundation. I'm Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major. I'm your host. Now, before we get started, I personally want to thank our presenting sponsors, Cavalry Agency, Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue University Global, and Veterans United Home Loans for making Your Next Mission happen. They love our veterans and families, and as I always say, we love them too. We have a couple incredible guests with us today. Our guest is Drew Hernandez and Juston Graber, actors, comedians, content creators, veterans who are driving force behind the social media sensation, a combat veteran. Welcome to the show. So good to have both of you on.
Yeah, good.
Thanks you. Thanks for having us.
Okay, well, I know you guys are a little crazy, so I'm going to try to control myself here a little bit with you. Hey, Drew, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? I want both of you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, either during the Army or when you came into the Army and prior to that, too. Go ahead.
My name is Drew Anthony Hernandez, Space Force astronaut, Coast Guard diver. I served in the Army for about 7 years. Went to Iraq, Afghanistan, did the reserves for a little bit, did active duty most of my time. After I got out, did college, banking, try to figure the whole life thing out. And then I decided to go contracting, did that for a few years over at the embassy in Baghdad. And then I came here to pursue acting, and that's where I met this fine gentleman over here, who is now my life partner.
Yeah,
All right.
We're gonna get on.
There you go.
Yeah,
We're gonna have separate
I'm actually his caretaker, according to the VA. So
You should be. Justin, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and when the Bills lost the 4th Super Bowl in a row, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I should probably join the military and go die for my country. I joined the Army in 2003. I think. Yeah, 2003. I started 2003 to 2012. I served with the Rakkasans at the 101st and did 2 deployments with them to Iraq. Yeah, it makes people puke. All those Tories, we spray painted a lot of Tories over there. Make sure that they knew who the hell we were. And then I got into some trouble, went to jail, got court-martialed, killed a guy, whatever. Yeah, and things happened, I guess. And then I had a fight to stay in the Army, fought to stay in the Army, won that fight. And then they were like, all right, you're going to get out February 2008 with an honorable discharge. And I was like, no, sir, I want to re-enlist. And the first sergeant in there was like, you want to re-enlist? That's what the Army put you through? They used you as a scapegoat. They ruined your life. And you want to continue to serve the military? I was like, well, I came in as an E3. I don't want to get out as an E1. How's that going to look on a resume?
that's patriotism right there.
And then I re-enlisted in the Army, got Fort Drum, did 2 deployments with them.
Wow.
One to Iraq, one to Afghanistan. I was hand-selected to serve on the PSD team for Generals Terry, Bannister, and Dahl, to which the PSD team, everyone thinks that we just provide security, but really we're just doing their laundry. That's it. They're like, hey, take care of my laundry.
Glorified babysitters.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I was like, I went through some other stuff, and I was like, I'm either going to get out or I'm going to stay in. And I was like, it's time to get the hell out. So I got out. My buddy talked me into going to school. I didn't want to go to school with a bunch of kids that were 10 years younger than me that have zero life experience. And I feel sorry for today's society. You guys are freaking dumb. But he did the paperwork for me to go to school, got me into school. He's still in the Army. I'd be a sergeant major with that guy right now. I stayed in.
Yeah, I would have been a first sergeant by now.
Started school at Savannah College of Art and Design for theater. Met a girl, brought me out to Los Angeles. I transferred to USC. She cheated on me because she was a BITCH, and then broke my heart. And then I met Drew on the street. I was doing my own, like,
he was doing this thing on Hollywood.
Yeah. And then I was hiking up that pant leg.
Like, this guy got great legs.
And then Drew was like, I'll give you a ride. And I was like, all right, cool. So He's been giving me a ride ever since.
Yeah, we've been.
And then we started doing our own short films, doing the sketches. He brought me on as a partner for the combat veteran, which I'm grateful for. I've been able to do what I love to do, which is act, write, produce, direct. Maybe not so much editing. I'm really sick of that. But what are you gonna do? You gotta wear all the hats to make it in the world, and then you still might not make it. But as long as you're somewhat happy, maybe half the time suicidal. I mean, last month was Suicide Prevention Month, so that's why I didn't commit suicide. So that's good.
Well, let me ask you a quick question. Now, I asked you before we got on the show here a little bit. Did either one of you wish you would have stayed in the service? Now, Justin, I'll start with you because you have a positive. Do you wish you'd have stayed?
Yeah, I enjoyed the military. I was a population control specialist. So like that job is the best job you can have in the military. 11 Bravos. We like to stick together. I miss the camaraderie. When I became a staff sergeant, that was the best job I could ever have. Training soldiers and making sure that they're doing the right things and taking chances on soldiers that had, otherwise a bad reputation within the unit, but always like mark people as dirt sacks. I was able to turn around and make 180-degree turns and make them into stellar soldiers because I knew training soldiers. You can't train soldiers all the same. You have to train each person individually. And provide that purpose, direction, and motivation. I miss the Army, man. I would love to stay and become a staff sergeant or a sergeant major to the Army and, kick back and do nothing all day and then eventually make a podcast.
Yeah, that's an easy job. How about yourself?
Yeah.
You wish you to stay?
No, hell no. Deal with privates? What do I look like, a baby?
I can see right now.
Not.
I can see right now you would. No, never mind. Go ahead.
No, after I went contracting and I got paid contracted money, it kind of showed me what my skills are actually worth. And ever since that experience of being around people who are there to do a job that they know how to do and train with people, with like-minded people that take the job seriously. It's just an environment, especially the pay when it comes to the pay.
Yeah.
It's just like, why would I join the Army for $30,000-$40,000 a year when I can do this same job with less struggle, less everything, less work really, for 5 times the pay. So for me, it's like, no, if I ever want to be in some kind of military establishment or type of environment, it would be State Department. Contract.
Well, I tell people all the time, everybody in life has God put us on this earth to do a specific thing. Some to be soldiers, some to be doctors, some to be cooks or whatever. And I guess you guys are made to be comedians.
To be single forever.
Yeah, well, whatever. Hey, instead of me trying to describe it, tell me about combat veterans, or tell the audience what is combat veterans to the audience. Why do you guys do that anyway?
So, Combat Veteran is a comedy brand focused on telling the story of veterans and those that are enlisted. We kind of play towards the truth, just in a more exaggerated way, because we feel like the exaggeration is really one, the reaction, but also the comedy. And that's pretty much what we want to concentrate on, is just focusing on the funny side of what would be our experience. It's tough to say that everyone has had the same experience, but in a way we have. And I use this as an example that when you're outside at 4:30 in the morning for PT or 5 or 6, and it's below zero, and your commander says shorts and T-shirts, that everyone has thought about dying that morning. Like, I hope I slip.
Or going AWOL, one or the other.
Exactly, going AWOL or something. So it's just one of those moments that we really shine in on, that we try to bring some connectivity when it comes to people watching it.
Yeah, it serves as therapy for us, obviously, too. Like when we're doing a sketch, or right when we're about to do a sketch, we get together and we just like shoot the crap together and make sure that, whatever, we'll just talk about our experiences, and then we'll find a laugh, and then we're like, oh, that's the sketch. And then I think it's so relatable because of the fact that we're doing that beforehand. It's almost like when you're an audience member watching it, you feel like you're part of the shooting the crap before the sketch happens, because everything's so relatable. Like Drew was saying, like, it's easy to go back to your memory of being in formation or dealing with somebody who did something wrong, and now everybody has to pay for it, or mass
Exactly.
punishment.
So what was the starting point for combat veterans? I mean, where'd you come up with this idea? I mean, it's a really good idea because, again, I think that comedy is therapy for a lot of people. So who had the starting point, and how'd you come up with the idea, I guess?
Yeah, I was in Baghdad. I was on a venue waiting for the principals to come out. And we were just shooting the shit inside the truck. And I said, oh my gosh, somebody should make a page about like combat veterans and like things that we go through and stuff. And one of the ideas, and those of you pay attention, because this is the gold right here that I'm about to put out there for those of you thinking about starting some kind of a brand. I started with my friends. I didn't get them together, but I wanted to highlight the characteristics that they all have.
Yeah.
The smoker, the cursor, the guy that's out of shape. And I came up with 10 things that everyone knows somebody for. And those 10 things came around the people that I know. And I knew that if I created this video and I delivered it right, that they would share it with their friends, and then they would share it with their friends and their friends, and so on and so forth. So my concentration wasn't just the better, but it was just my friends. I just wanted to make my friends laugh. And it became a ripple effect. My friends shared it to their friends to their friends. And one thing led to another. I went viral. It went to Washington because they saw my rifle bag and radio in the back. And they were like, take this video down now. And I was like, okay. But they let me continue. I was still working with the State Department. They were just like, you can continue it. We love it. It was hilarious, but no sensitive items in your videos. And I was like,
That's probably
okay,
a good reason not to put classified documents out there. Yeah, here's our shit. Attack us or whatever. Justin, same question for you. I mean, let me ask you a different. Why do you think comedy has a way of reaching? I mean, why comedy to reach veterans? Do you think that's the best way to reach veterans?
Well, I think, well, I mean, we do other genres too. Like when we're doing short films and stuff like that, we'll dive into it. We've done a horror short film. We've done a lot of dramatic pieces. Those don't get pushed out as well with the algorithm when we release stuff like that on a combat veteran. So we're trying to do a different thing with those, with like, we'll put those on Amazon Prime, or we're trying to get Netflix deals and Hulu deals. But those are right now still almost a shot in the dark, it feels like, but we're still reaching for the stars. We're working our butts off. We've created our own catalog, as Drew says, and when they finally spark their interest, we'll be at a premium price. So we don't just do comedy. I think that's just at the forefront. That's what's most as easily accessible to our audience for them to find is the combat veteran stuff on Facebook and YouTube, which is primarily comedy. But we're really passionate about doing every genre and doing it right. And I think that we do that, and we're able to give some kind of credit to what we do because of how hard we work and how much we invest within the story arcs and the character development and the story as a whole.
Yeah.
To piggyback a little bit about what Justin said, is comedy just comes natural to us. Mm-hmm. It's second.
I'm sure it comes natural to you. I can see that right off the bat on you.
Yeah, well, it's because he's taken comedy classes, improv, Second City, UCB, stuff like that. Like people that come from like Saturday Night Live, they usually go to these schools and stuff like that. So he's really good at thinking on his feet, but just like naturally, comedy just comes to us, and we kind of know what comedy does for everyone. Comedy is the unity in people that, that brings people together to enjoy a moment of good laughter. Who doesn't want to laugh?
Yeah.
You don't want to laugh. Yeah. You kind of need to change who you are as a person because it's healthy. They say you use more muscles frowning than smiling. But comedy is a feel good thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of the many things that we try to bring to this community is just having that moment of relaxing, enjoying and seeing a reflection of yourself, especially if you can laugh at yourself. it's even better. Then I think that's the Army got to do that a little bit more to.
I agree 100%. I agree. What kind of feedback are you getting from veterans?
Yeah, it's a lot of positive feedback. We get a lot of comments and stuff saying like, "Oh, this is so accurate." Like, I laughed my butt off and things like that. So it's good to see those comments. Sometimes people will reach out to us in private messages and say that we've helped them within their day. I had a female reach out to me, say she wasn't in the military, but her husband was, and he's on a deathbed, and she unfortunately lost him to cancer. But she thanked me and wanted me to relay it to Drew that we provided him with laughter in his final days with our sketches and stuff like that. So it's cool to get those messages. It's great to read the message on Facebook and YouTube.
One of the things that's super important about it is that, especially when we did the play, we had a veteran come see the play. It's a 2.5-hour comedy on stage, and a veteran came out crying.
Yeah.
Because the moment was so real for him, and it was such a reflection of his service. And that right there, it's that thing right there, which, oftentimes I don't understand, especially when it comes to Facebook and social media, how people can just be so hateful towards, if you don't find it funny, fine, move on. But there are people that find therapy in it. There are people that, that enjoy it, that kind of see it and it was just like, ooh, a new video, yes. And, they take that moment, that 5-10 minute moment of their day, they put everything aside to just watch this piece of content. And, and they want to read comments with people that kind of feel the same as them. And when they got to skim through like the hateful, this was stupid, this is this blah, blah. It kind of, why would you bring that kind of energy to somebody who actually enjoys the content? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, coming back to it, it's that's who we do it for. The people that, find the therapy behind the comedy, like that dude that was crying at the play. It was a proud moment. It's one of the proudest things I think you can ever do, especially with a platform like a combat veteran that reaches so many people. It's just one of those things where it's just like it feels like it's such an achievement to be able to do that.
I was telling somebody a little while ago, and I said, laughter and communicating is a way of releasing stress. I mean, it's if you can get people to laugh. I told you this already. I was overran, 20 wounded and 7 killed. And I've been to places where I've actually stepped over bodies. You guys probably seen a lot of stuff, but I've seen some things that I certainly want to block out. But and I do that because I'm just real open. I talk, I say things, I get it all out of my mind. But there's a lot of people that struggle, what you're talking about, that don't find a way to release that stuff, that unfortunately commit suicide. Which is a terrible thing. So I think that's important. Now I've saved up all day, so I have a story for you. Okay, real quick. So I'm as a private. You probably can identify with this. And I was pulling guard, and when you're in guard, you got Commander Leave Post number 1 or where the hell it was, and I was up at Fort Lewis, Washington at the time. Now it's Joint Base Lewis McChord, and I'm marching, looking good, being a good soldier, and I heard this guy says, "Halt! Commander Lee, post number 2. Halt! Commander Lee, post number 2. Ah!" Threw his weapon down and took off running. And I'm an old private. I'm shaking like this. I said, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And a bear had actually got into the fence where this guy was at, and the bear was chasing him down through there. Now, it doesn't sound funny now, but I laughed my ass off a couple of years later. It was really good.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So what can you do? Because bears climb trees too, so you can't even climb a tree to get away with it.
That's right. All I had to do was get over that fence and just keep running like a bat out of egg. That's for sure. Hey, we're talking with Drew Hernandez and Juston Graver, and creators of Combat Veterans, and you're watching Your Next Mission video podcast with me, your host, Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this discussion, and if you're not enjoying this discussion, something's wrong with it. These guys are wild here. Please click on that subscribe button below and join us. That's for sure. Hey, you have more than 330,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1 million on Facebook. Now that's a heck of an accomplishment. Was that Combat Veterans? Was that an immediate success, or did it take you a while to get to that point? I'm sure it took you a while.
So it was really immediate success.
Was it really?
It was, the first video went viral, the second video went viral, third, fourth. I just kind of found a recipe kind of right away for what veterans wanted to see. The hard part was maintaining it. Anybody can find immediate success on social media. You can say the most absurd thing and find some level of success out of that. Yeah. But it's more about maintaining it. If you can maintain it, combat veterans has been around for 7 years. Creators have come and gone on these platforms, but a combat veteran is still around. It's just a matter of knowing exactly how you're going to maintain the platform that just becomes the most difficult thing to do, really.
Yeah. Do you guys still reach back to other veterans that you serve with? Say, I guess two things. Do you still reach back to veterans and talk to them, and do you still have friends on active duty you call and sort of maybe find some material, some things you want to talk about on the shows? Or
yeah, like my buddy Dave Turco, who's still in. Like I've talked with him sometimes, and he'll give me like ideas to keep things fresh. I can't remember what was it there's something we put in a sketch that he recommended because it's like Army lingo now, but it's this weird. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it's like I don't know, something to do with the balls or something. The balls is the punchline, but they try to get their sergeants to say something, and then I can't remember off the top.
But we also have Peter, who's sort of like a third member, really. He's still active duty.
Oh, he's still active.
So he's
still active duty. What units he served?
Yeah. I don't.
He's in the reserves. He's at Osel. 75th Theater Brigade or something like that. I think.
One of the things I didn't ask you. What was your MOS? Military occupation skill. What was your MOS? Go ahead.
I'm a population control specialist.
You say that again?
Population control specialist.
Okay, how about you?
So when the terrorists were overpopulated, they would send us in to take care of them.
Bullshit. I got that one.
11 Bravo.
How about yourself?
I mentioned it earlier. I was a Space Force door spaceship gunner and also a Coast Guard Navy diver.
Okay, going on something else. Yeah,
I was an FP.
Okay, well, you may maybe have a history of telling lies. I don't know about that. Hey, do you ever have trouble?
Never guess we get along.
I can see that right now. You guys get along great. That's for sure. Hey, do you ever have problems coming up with material? You probably just talk to each other, come up with a bunch of stuff. But do you ever have problems coming up with material?
No.
It's easy.
Yeah.
A lot of our materials, it's like he said, we kind of talk about it and say this is the material.
Yeah.
We don't really script anything. It's kind of just turn the camera on and go.
Yeah.
It's all improv, the back of improv, and just reaction and reacting and reaction or reacting, however.
Now, was
like
you funny in school? Was you both funny in school? Did you tell a lot of jokes in school or cut up or get in trouble all the time?
I wasn't that like that popular.
I didn't go to school.
You didn't go. I understand that too. Now I see why. No, go ahead.
I joined the Army when there was a lot of waivers around.
You came in Justin 2003. I was a sergeant major of the Army during 2003. So you probably went.
I remember the name, like Tilley. He was the sergeant of the Army when I was in.
Yeah. So everybody's got to get out at one point in their career. That's for sure.
That was a board question. Who's the sergeant major of the Army right now? Sergeant Major Tilley.
A board question.
Well, hopefully, you got it correct any doggone way.
I didn't go. I was helping the sergeants study for their board.
Well, how many years did it take you to make staff sergeant? Did it take 5 years?
Oh, man. All right. When did I become staff sergeant? So I was E3, E4, E3, E4, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5.
Never mind. It took you forever.
But from so I was court martial in 2007. Got out.
Can we talk about your court martial? Do you want to? Or is that private? You don't want to talk about that?
That's a long story, Sergeant Major.
I probably read it.
Triangle, yeah.
I may have read about you a long time ago. Anyway,
you did Operation Iron Triangle. You remember Operation Iron Triangle?
Well, usually people get
Colonel Mikey Steele.
Usually people get in trouble or get court-martialed for a few things, either drinking or refusing an order or doing something crazy. Was you both?
No, mine was crazy. Mine was Operation Iron Triangle.
Well, you got court.
2005,
You got court-martial. I think mine happened before I came into service. I spent about 9 or 10 months in reform school when I was a kid. I wasn't a good kid. And that's really one of the reasons I came into the service, is to, maybe start a new life or something. Have there ever been times when you really had to censor yourself, where maybe you thought it was, going just a little bit too far? You want to pull back a little bit? Probably.
We have had a couple of sketches that we filmed, edited, and not ever released because we're like, nah,
I can understand that.
This might be too bad. I don't know.
Yeah, just the way the platforms work now, and what they allow to be monetized and not monetized is very hypocritical. But at the same time, it's kind of like we know when we're pushing that line. It is what it is. It's their platform. We got to abide by their rules, and their rules just keep changing. So we got to be very mindful of the things we put out.
Yeah. One last question. We'll take a little bit of break. Do you think there's more veterans that watch you, or there's more people that have never served that watch your shows and the stuff you put out, or a little bit of mixture of both? I mean, because only 1% of the country ever served in the military. So.
Oh, we get comments from like British Army people saying
joking.
like this is so accurate for the British Army.
The British, the Australians, the French Army. Those guys are, especially the Australians. They're always around. But it's also high school kids looking to join, college kids that are thinking about joining. We get those a lot, and then we get the veterans.
Yeah, you don't get no Taliban or anything, do you?
Yeah, we've had.
Wow.
I don't know if they're not saying that I'm Taliban. I can relate to you guys. I relate to a lot of the things you guys went through. But we do have locals from Afghanistan, Iraq that do pop up in the comments and just like, hey.
Oh yeah, there's one guy that
funny
was
shit, man.
There's one guy that was like, I was gonna, strap on the suicide vest, but after I watched your video, I'm not doing it.
Pulled me out of that one.
Okay. We got a lot more to talk about. There's no question about that. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. You're watching Your Next Mission Video Podcast.
Well, these guys are funny. I don't want to kill them.
You're watching Your Next Mission, proudly presented by the Cavalry Agency. They help brands dominate no matter their size. Ideas, strategy, action. This is Cavalry. Learn more at cavalry.com. Navy Federal Credit Union, the most trusted credit union owned by members of the military community, serving all branches of the armed forces and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Purdue Global, providing affordable online education for hardworking adults. Learn more about a personalized, innovative, and world-class education at PurdueGlobal.edu. Veterans United Home Loans, the #1 VA lender for 5 straight years. If you're buying, they're funding your dreams. Learn more at VeteransUnited.com. Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Well, welcome back. We're blessed to be here today with Drew Hernandez and Juston Gruber, who are creators of these guys in the back of your wave, creators of Combat Veteran. And I want all of our viewers to reach out to me directly. Tell me about your transition. Tell us what kind of topics you'd like us to cover. You can call or text me at 844-424-1134, and I'll reach out to you. Or send me an email at smatilley@yournextmission.org. We're heading into our final segment of the day, and I hope you've enjoyed it just as much as I have. I just really have a couple more questions, and let's be a little serious here. Did combat life change you at all? I mean, for me, just talking about myself first. I told you before I was overran and 20 wounded and 7 killed. I went from 18 to 55, and inside there's no question that it changed me. So I asked you before, I think comedy is a therapy, and you said already it's a therapy for you, and I guess the second question is, did in fact combat change you when you came back?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like in the sense of me being like comedic and goofy, no. Like my friends are like, oh, you're still like You still seem like the same guy. But they don't see like the times where I like fall into depression and, slip down those ruts. Some of them do. The people that I've served with, will 100% reach out to if they need help or someone to talk to. But yeah, like war is hell, man, and it'll change your mindset. You'll see people do things that you didn't think they were going to do, and then you'll have to respond to that, and that'll mess you up and might get court-martialed in the process. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it has to change you. You can't. I don't believe. I would question anyone who's gone through combat and came out and they're exactly the same. I would fucking Jeffrey Dahmer if that's really what happened. But it has to change you because you start redefining the value of life.
Oh, absolutely.
If you will, especially within yourself, where you just care less about yourself. In a sense of like, it doesn't matter at some point during your combat experience. But then the value of life, even with other people, especially if it's people you don't really care about, is just, and in some way it's kind of like the wrong outlook of things because you want to have some level of compassion, especially after the military and you're going through life. But that's one of the effects combat does for you. It kind of makes you numb to the point of like seeing other people's lives. And it's just like, I don't really give it. At least for me, I can't speak for everyone, but at least for me, it's just like, I don't really value other people's lives. Although there's something that I'm working on where it's like, I want to have more compassion towards people and stuff like that. But it's just like that experience for me is kind of like, we come and we go. That's all it is. Not like I'm out here wishing people to die, but it's just we come and we go. Somebody dies, it's like, well, that's what happens.
It's really funny. I think that when you go to war, your heart turns black. And I used to say this all the time. That if anybody, this is a terrible thing to say, but anybody's got to hurt, let it be somebody else. And I told people not too long ago. I mean, I've said more prayers. God, if you just get me out of here, I'll never do whatever I did again. Just get me out of this one particular spot. But I think inside, when you talk about coming back, inside you'll always be changed, and you'll always have. I always tell people there's scars on the outside, but there's also a lot of scars inside that you'll never be able to fix. And again, you guys fix or help. I don't know if you can ever fix it, but I think you help yourself with comedy, and it's really a good thing. I understand you guys are getting ready to take this show on the road, Huntley Brinkley kind of stuff going on the road. Hopefully it works out. Can you tell a little about that?
We did the play out here in Los Angeles. It was 2.5 hours long. Drew and I co-wrote it, co-produced it, co-directed, and acted in it. We have a total of 7 cast members. 4 of us are veterans. The other 3 are non-veterans. And that was part of the plan. The plan and the goal to like really show civilians that our experiences aren't really that different. Maybe being shot at, but it's just a workplace comedy of situations that happen in the workplace of the Army. Yeah, that parallel civilian life, and maybe not with we have 2 deployment scenes or like acts that we go through.
Yeah, one of the things that we kind of want to show people is that, especially there's this stigma in the veteran community that we've become so isolated that we've convinced ourselves that we are unable to work with others because of our experiences in the military. And I call bullshit on that because we work with everyone from every walks of life. In the military, we can work with absolutely everyone outside of the military. And this play and the ensemble of the cast members is an example of having to work with people from different walks of life. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that we wanted to send that message out. Like, enough with this isolation, there's kind of to myself thing. No, in the military, we work together and we can do that shit outside of the military.
Go ahead.
There's still like a division when it comes to, especially in today's society. And there's a bias to people wearing a uniform. When I was on the 4th of July of all days, the Independence Day, I was on the beach with a sign trying to promote the play because we're going up the next month. And I had a picture, Drew had a picture made, and there were pictures of us in uniform from rehearsals. And I'm like, come see our play. It's a comedy, blah, blah, blah. And I was stopped by people who were like, oh, no, I don't want to see that. Like with this agenda, like you guys are probably pro-life or like whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this play is a comedy. It doesn't have a political agenda. we all come from all walks of life, like Drew said. I was like,
People believe in different things.
yeah, they see the freaking uniform, they automatically think, oh, they're a Republican or whatever. But people serve in the military, who cares if they're Republican? Who cares if they're Democrat? Who cares if they're liberal? We don't have the luxury of being like, oh, well, you're fired. We have to work together. And I think that's why the military is such a great organization, is because like you have to listen and hear other people out and different points of views. You know, it's like, I don't understand why people like, especially right now. It's just like everything's so
first of all, I think it's crazy. I always tell people, I give a class up in Baltimore, and I have everybody raise their hand and say, I will. And I have the audience say, I will. And they all put their hand down. And I said, do you understand what you just did? And they said, no. I said, you've said, I will die for your freedoms. And you guys did that. You said, I will. Whether or not you get court-martialed, you have fun or did whatever the hell you did, you was willing to die for this country. And so you fought for their freedoms. And so you should have the right to do whatever. And I'm with you. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American. I love this country, and I have the right to do whatever the hell I want to do. And people that get involved, sometimes it's sort of crazy that somebody wants to complain about where you're sitting. In fact, I read something the other day about somebody complaining about putting your seat back on an airplane. Well, bullshit. I pay for that seat, and if I want to put it back, I'm going to put it back. So I think we need to get out of that stuff. And what you guys are doing right here is keep doing what you're doing. You're making a heck of a difference, whether or not, I'm sure you know it, but I hope you know it, but you're making a difference in the lives of a lot of veterans. So keep doing what you're doing, because laughter, communications, laughing, cutting up and having fun, because there's a lot of people out there that are not as fortunate that you guys are. And
Enlisted is one of those examples that we think is going to change the game for a lot of veterans. Because it's one thing to see the content on the internet at the comfort of your home and stuff like that. That's great and all, but when you see it in person, you sit down and you're seeing the comedy just evolve right in front of you, where it's like everything, especially when it comes to theater and play, where everything is put on the line. Anybody can mess up at any moment. We have. We've messed up on stage.
Me too.
And
I don't go to stage, but I mess up anyway.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where the magic is there in person, especially if you come to see the play. Whenever we can get this play up on its feet again.
Yeah. Hey, go back to your show. What can you tell me what locations you're going to? Maybe tell the audience what location you guys are. Do you know?
We don't have anything set in stone at this point. We just finished the edit. I have to go through and do credits. We have to get it colored, possibly sound correction, and then we plan on releasing it online for like a one-time viewing.
We're trying to raise the money
so that we can go back on the road.
So we can go back on the road, because it's expensive and it's difficult, especially our cast members and stuff, like asking them to take some time off of their jobs to come do this and stuff like that. Like, people need to be compensated. We got reached out by the MWR, and it just felt like they wanted us to do it for free. And it's just like, I can't ask people to do this for free. Like, I get it. We want to support veterans and our service members and stuff, but we got bills to pay. So at the end of the day, we can't do it for free, and we won't take on a city unless we know we have everyone's pay first.
Are you trying to go through FWR and see if you can get somebody to fund it? Is that what you just said? Or have you reached out there?
Somebody, I won't list the location specifically, but somebody at an MWR did reach out to us because they wanted us to come, and we were all open for it until we sent them the budget sheet. It's like, this is what it's going to cost. They wanted to do it for free. They didn't want us to even charge to do it. And it's just like, well, what do you want us to do with it? We can't tell people to do it for free.
Well, you gotta eat. I tell people all the time, I'll do things for free every once in a while, but you have to get paid for doing those. If I can ever help you with that stuff, let me know. I got some contacts there in MWR and stuff. So if I can help you, let me know. All I can do is connect you and whatever they do after that. But I'm with you. Don't do anything for free. You want to entertain soldiers, do all that stuff for service members, but don't do it for free. You gotta make a living too. Hey, first of all, let me say it's been great talking to you guys, and you're a lot of fun. And again, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change what you're doing. Make a difference, and that's what you're doing. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with the audience? Justin, we'll start with you. Anything you want to share with the audience before we get out of here?
Don't give up. Never surrender.
What movie was that from?
I don't know. If you find yourself going through rough times. That sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. But I don't know. Look to your friends. Look within yourself. Find that resiliency and keep moving forward, because it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Drew, how about yourself?
I don't know.
Okay.
Pretty soon,
Okay.
Pretty soon might be. Talk about it. Fucking talk about it. Stop holding that shit in. Get a journal, write about it, get a friend, say it again, say it again, say it again, say it again, and keep saying it. It's gonna saying your traumas, telling your story, what you've experienced. It doesn't matter if they can connect with it. The point is to say it, to be able to express it. Do it. Because we hold a lot, we internalize, especially as a ton of things. We're told, take a knee, drink water. No, say it. It doesn't matter if they can connect with it or not. Just say it. Get it out. Get it all out. Then get it out again next week. Get it out again the week after. But just continue to say it, because it's going to get easier when you start doing that.
Or drink water in between saying it, because you might hydration is important.
You might get caught.
Well, the other thing about that too is a lot of times when you talk to somebody that hadn't served, they may not understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because they've never walked in your boots and they don't get the deal and all that stuff. So I'm with you. If you want to say it and release that pressure. I'd tell a bad story, but I will. But I had a good friend here, probably about a year ago now, that went home, let his dog out the back. His wife had left to go do something, went down and committed suicide. You know, so when you think about that, when you think about the kind of stress that veterans go through, again, what you guys do is just unbelievable, and you're making a difference. So again, from this old soldier, I know I'm a lot older than you guys. I spent a lot of time in the service, but I would tell you that you guys are making a difference, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks to Drew Hernandez and Juston Graber for being with us today. I'm Jack Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. You've been watching Your Next Mission video podcast, and thank you for watching today. Please visit us on our website while I watch these guys wave in the back, and on yournextmission.org, and leave me a review. Hopefully it's a good review. These guys will probably write me one that'll suck, but leave me a good review. Or you can also visit our partners there, who can provide you with so many services that will assist you in your transition out of the military. If I could have helped these guys getting out of the military, they would have had a different job. Also, please visit our corporate partners there, who will provide you with so many jobs that are available. Please know, just like we talked about a minute ago, please know we want to assist you any way we can. And I want to say that again, and we talked about it a few minutes ago. Please know we want to help you, whether or not it's laughter, singing, talking, whatever. Just what Drew said, get it out. Talk about it. Let people know what those issues are. So, I'm here for you, and I'm sure they are too, but let us know. Please follow me on all my social media channels. I'm an old guy. Never thought I'd ever say that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and even LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this discussion with Drew and Juston, and I know that you have because I did, you can check out Combat Veterans on their YouTube, Facebook. Please like us and click on that subscribe button below. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. Please leave me a message or send me a text at 844-424-1134, or send me an email at SMA Tilley at yournextmission.org. Thanks again to Drew Hernandez and Juston Graber for joining us today. It was just great having them on the show. Every show, I always leave you with some final thoughts, and I'm going to leave you with what I've said here about 15 times already. Laughter, comedy, talking, taking care of each other. There's about, I keep getting mixed numbers, 17 to 20 million veterans out there, and they suffer. They suffer with a lot of different things. They have scars that you can't see, so make a difference. Make a difference just like they are. They're making a difference and they're doing it through laughter, so don't forget, you're not alone, and we're all here to help you. Again, thank you for watching, and thanks to Cloudcast Media, New Mind Studios, and of course, our 4 presenting sponsors, Cavalry Agency, Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue University Global, and Veterans United Home Loans. We appreciate all you do for our veterans. And again, as always, see you on the high ground. Hooah!
You've been listening to Your Next Mission, brought to you by the American Freedom Foundation. Learn more by visiting yournextmission.org.